There it is, baby. We are live. Episode 3, Media Oddities. This has been a few weeks in the making. Um, like always, I'm Chris.
Yeah, I'm Zach.
That's Zach. And we are two homies who watch kind of bad movies, mostly bad movies.
Yeah.
um, we are talking about Alien from LA today, which we had decided on at last minute. I decided on last minute to pitch it on the tail end of episode 2. And I had seen it before, didn't like it then, watched it again. I would be interested in hearing your thoughts before I talk about what I thought about after watching it a second time. Um, what'd you think? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it for the most part. I think because you said it was bad, I went in with lower expectations. I've also heard bad things from other people, but yeah, I ended up enjoying it for the most part.
It's just so it's just so goofy. Like sometimes goofy movies, sometimes a goofy movie rips. That movie fucking rules.
Yeah.
Sometimes goofy movies just make me feel like that I'm the idiot for not thinking it's funny. Um, so like rewatching it, I also had convinced myself that I hated it, like truly hated it. Um, I watched it again today, literally today. We're recording this on a Friday. I watched it Friday morning in preparation. It was fine. The second time through, I was a little kinder with it. I think the first time I had just bought it full price from Vinegar Syndrome, I think. So I was kind of like, yo, how many of these movies can I watch and end up having them be bad? And so I was really upset when I like watched it and I was like, this isn't this wasn't what I was looking for.
Yeah. That's a lot with
Um,
vinegar syndrome, though, unfortunately.
you know,
Even though I keep
I
getting
I
that
love what they
subscription.
do. Yeah, yeah. For every 15 movies I buy, I get one that I'm like, this is a straight up banger. Um, Alien from LA is not a banger to me, but it's I liked it more the second time through. I still now that I've seen it twice, I probably won't ever watch it again. Um, but did you refresh my memory? Did you end up having a copy of it or did you just
Yeah.
stream it?
Yeah, I have a copy.
Like
Am I going to
sick.
keep it? I don't know.
Yeah. 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 I watched the first time I watched it, I watched the Blu-ray, of course, because I spent money on it. This one I was just lazy. I just streamed it because I was just doing it last minute. Um, but I do own a copy. One of us owned a copy, both of us own a copy, which was a prereq for hopefully movies going forward. Um, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about why it's a perfectly mid movie. Um, First and foremost, the thing that I think that makes it really popular is it's Kathy Ireland's first film ever, basically. Kathy Ireland being like an elite level model, swimsuit model, runway model, hella famous at this point in her life. And she just gets plucked out of having never acted before to be in this movie because she was tall, is pretty much how she ended up with this movie.
Yeah.
um, so certified dime piece in a movie that is not that great. That's every 80s and 90s movie ever, you know?
Yeah. Especially ones like
um,
this.
yeah, that I think that's like a whole subgenre of sci-fi. Like really like truly strikingly beautiful actors. Actors encompassing actors and actresses, but like actors as a whole being dropped into movies that are just like low budget, low quality, but the selling point is like, well, we've got Kathy Ireland in it, so you're gonna come watch
Yeah.
it. Um, I wish that I could have been around for its release, like as an adult, so that I could gauge how effective that tactic was. Um, I don't think you can talk about Alien from LA without right off the rip just talking about Kathy Ireland's voice in this movie.
Yeah. I think my
It's
letterbox review is just why does she sound like Timmy Turner?
yeah, it's and what's funny is her name, Kathy Ireland's character's name is Wanda. So you've got Wanda, you've got Timmy Turner. It was the Fairly Odd Parents before Fairly Odd Parents was even a twinkle in someone's brain. Um, her voice is not to dunk on Kathy Ireland as a human being. I don't know her personally. I don't have any thoughts about her personally, but like that voice is so grating in that movie. Like, and it's not a bit. I think that was her actual voice.
Yeah.
Like,
Had to have been.
um, I read. I think the first time I watched it, I Googled like, is that her real voice? And um, somebody linked an article where she talked about even when she was like in her mid 20s, that's naturally what she sounded like. So she had to like train herself to sound like different and quote unquote more adult so
Just
that
chain
people would
smokes
take
every
her
day.
serious. Yeah, yeah. Just listens to chain smokers every day. I'm an adult now. Uh yeah, she like had to make her voice deeper, which is something that is insane. Like you have to like practice talking down here to become a
It's
to
like
be respected in your industry.
maybe you should have done that before the movie. I don't
Yes.
know.
Well, I think it lends to, Kathy Ireland in this movie is like 25 and she's supposed to be like an 18, 19-year-old. So that kind of lends itself to her being like
Yeah.
really young. Um, but do you want to do a something I think that we touched on in the Grizzly Rage episode, and then I'm not even gonna fucking bother trying to say the episode or two. I can't. You know I can't. But bloody body. No, dude, I fucking can't. I can't do
Bloody
it.
muscle bodybuilder in hell.
There you go. I fucking can't do it. Um, I'm gonna develop a stutter from trying to fucking pronounce that movie. Um, something I think we should do is a soft touch on the plot. Um, do you wanna do I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't prep this. I know you didn't prep this. Do you want to try and summarize Alien from LA in like 10 sentences or less?
Hmm. I could read the box.
Yeah. You're like Kathy Ireland stars as Wanda. What's her name? Fucking Sackmusen,
Sacknooson.
Snackmusen. What is it like?
Yeah, Sacknooson.
Sackmusen. Um, yeah. You want to read the box, dude?
Yeah, I'll read the box.
This is like
That'd
some
be fun.
popcorn reading.
Got it here. So I put all my shit in cases.
Oh yeah, you got to protect it. You got to protect the aliens from LA.
All right. Wanda's famed archaeologist father has been missing for years. Out of the blue, she receives an unexpected letter from her father's colleague in Africa, informing her that his disappearance is due to his presumed death after falling down a bottomless pit. Deciding to make the transcontinental journey in the hope of finding him alive, Wanda flies to Africa only to end up stumbling down the same pit as her father. Once at the bottom of the hole, if the she discovers that it's the gateway to a lost subterranean civilization, Atlantis. Unfortunately, the Atlanteans don't take too kindly to visitors from the Earth's surface.
It's the whole movie summarized, dude. That's not even a. It's not even like a tidbit. Like, hey, this is what it kind of is about. That's the whole fucking movie summarized.
Yeah, pretty much.
Um, Shout out to a thorough back of box description for a movie. That's pretty much it. This this 19-year-old or however old she's supposed to be, 18, 19, um, has this relationship with her father, and her father's an archaeologist, and he is searching the globe for, I think the whole point is that he is kind of looking for this lost civilization, either loosely or directly. I don't remember, but something they tell us in the first 3 minutes of the movie, and it's just totally in passing when she finds out that her father's potentially dead or is dead. She thinks he's dead. Is that her mother is dead because her mother was hit by a car.
Yeah.
Like, Like, what the fuck? Um,
They've also hasn't seen each
they,
other in like 10 years.
yeah. So I'm
They,
like, yo, has she just been chilling since she was 10 by herself? Like,
yeah,
um, so yeah, dead mom, dad is MIA, presumed dead. And the movie starts with her getting broken up with by her boyfriend for not being like an explorer, for not like entertaining the spice of life. I'm like, she's got no parents, my guy. Like it's okay if she wants to just stay in, LA. Like,
yeah.
um, but so she gets dumped. She finds out her dad's about to, is dead. She goes to track him down and figure out what's going on. Um, and stumbles into the lost city of Atlantis, which bears a striking resemblance to the underground city in Demolition Man. Um, the primary difference between Atlanteans and aliens, as they call them, people from the surface, are that everyone in Atlantis is just really short. That's it. They
Yeah.
they look the same. They have different accents, which is interesting. But they're functionally the same. They're just not as tall as Kathy Ireland. Um,
Yeah.
her dad's not dead. She finds him. It's the
Yeah.
end of the movie. uh, that's pretty much the plot. I mean, she rescues people, she gets rescued by people, she meets a dude with an Australian accent, even though they're fucking underground.
Yeah.
The bad
They,
guys have British accents.
yeah. Also, the hole is in Africa, but they're all white.
Yeah, it must have been South Africa. It's over by
Yeah.
Joburg. um, and the like primary like underground um mob boss that's trying to pursue Wanda, the alien from the, quote unquote the alien, is fucking Deep Roy, that the actor who's like plays like kind of like the same character in everything he does. He was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I just rewatched Eastbound and Down. He was in that
Oh
for a couple
yeah.
episodes. Um, but then so he has an accent. He has a, a somewhat exaggerated Indian accent. Then you have Australian accents. You have people with British accents. I'm like, what? Where the fuck are these people from? Like, Atlantis
Right.
sucks, dude. Like, um, they they say it turns out that her dad's alive. They escape. Kathy Ireland returns to the surface a changed woman. She's she's traveled the globe now. She's so much older and wiser than she once was. And they tell you that by letting her take her glasses off and putting her in a two-piece
Yeah.
bikini, um, which is obviously the international sign for I'm grown now. Um, and then at the end, she dumps her. Kind of was dumped in the beginning. She was dumped, but then like at the end, she kind of like rebuffs her boyfriend, who's like, "Whoa, she went to Africa? That's fucking sick."
Yeah.
Um, we should. Meanwhile, he's talking to like his new girlfriend. She's like right there. It's like, "Yo, Wanda went to Africa, dude. What's up?" Um, and then that's it. That's the fucking movie, man. Atlantis is an underground hell pit full of people with funky accents and some of the worst fucking makeup I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, out of five, what do you give Alien from LA?
I gave it a 3. It
Three.
was
Perfectly mid.
it was weird enough, like that 80s weirdness. I liked it.
Yeah. I did give it a 1.5 star, almost 4 years ago, I think was when I watched it. Um, Having rewatched it, I might bump it up to a 2. I'm not going to change the review on Letterboxd because I think that's I don't fuck with that. Once I put a review in, doesn't matter. It's locked in forever. Um, I might log it a second time, but um, Yeah, we'll say 1.5 to 2 for me. Mostly just because it's just too silly for me. And I love silly movies, but it was just very silly. But while rewatching it, I was just doing some casual perusal of like stuff about the movie just to make sure that there wasn't anything crazy that I didn't know about. Um, I don't know if you had seen this, but Mystery Science Theater 3000 actually did an episode on for this movie. I don't know if
Oh
you
yeah.
had known that.
Don't think
Um,
so.
I watched it. It was very fun. Um, if I could rate the Mystery Science Theater version of it, I'm giving it a 4. Um, but if you're just watching the movie as is, 1.5 to 2. Um, so technically, I've actually seen the movie 3 times, but when you watch the Mystery Science version of it, you're not really watching the movie. You're just kind of listening to the
Yeah.
riff on it. Um, but very funny. I would highly recommend that if anyone has any interest in watching it, but maybe is not sold on watching it, you can watch the Mystery Science version of it on YouTube. I think it's like 90 minutes. Very quick watch. Highly recommend. Very funny. Um,
I'd rewatch it like that.
and yeah, I was thinking about doing a whole month of just logging movies, but logging them within the context of I watched them all through the Mystery Science Theater 3000 lens, which might be something I do later in the year. Because they've covered a lot of the movies that, in theory, I would cover naturally for something like the podcast, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so maybe we go down that rabbit hole of like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 week or so, or like just a couple movies, some cherry picked ones. That would be sick, I think.
Yeah.
Or hear me out, we do our own. We just fucking we I don't know what the fair use rules are. I think it has to be public domain movies maybe for us to be able to use it and then not have to worry about the long-term effects of it.
Yeah.
But we should do like a the just have the movie be the third box, for our Zoom call, and then we just let it rip, dude, and see how many times I can get in trouble for saying things like that are just out of fucking nowhere. We what would we call that though? So there's Mystery Science, there's Riff Tracks. Austin has what we call Master Pancake, which is I think through Alamo. What would our talking shit about movies in real time be called? Would it be called Zack Attack? Is that Zack Tracks?
Zach tracks.
Zack Tracks.
That
They're like, Chris is
works.
there too. I'm like, nah, it's cool. It's Zack Tracks.
It's like he's the guy that's not talking as much. Why is it the title?
That's the joke. It's called Zack Tracks and it's just me. uh we'll workshop the tentatively being called Zack Tracks. Um there's so much other stuff we can talk about this movie, and I would like to talk more about it. Uh, anything else about your viewing that stuck out? Any interesting tidbits? Any weird things that you thought about while watching it?
Not that I can think of. It was like a week ago that I watched it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, but yeah, I like that 80s like post-apocalyptic feel.
Yeah. Um, I think I can't remember if we talked about it on the podcast or if it might have been on Instagram. We were talking about it, but um, if you really enjoyed, if you really enjoyed this and you like the vibe, um, I watched Mutante Acción, which is
Oh
the
yeah.
first movie in that box set, and it's like the same kind of fucking movie. It's like almost the same movie.
I have it somewhere.
Yeah, definitely recommend watching it. It's so fucking weird, but it's also really great. Like, um, it's the same basic kind of idea. Like the plot itself is not the same at all, but like the content is very similar. Like you have a woman who's trying to she's been ransomed by this mutant group that is trying to overthrow the like beautiful people in society. But they end up like fucking going into space and stuff, and it's so weird. It's so wild. It's so weird, but it's like the same kind of look and feel. It's the same kind of like um style of character design, if that makes sense. Like the same kind of like goofy
Yeah.
practical characters. Um, so highly recommend that. But um I do love post-apocalyptic or like subterranean apocalyptic vibe movies. Like there's like that very particular look. Um, Demolition Man is another example I'll use. And it's not quite the same setup, but like when they go underground in Demolition Man, it feels the same. It's just like
Yeah.
the subterranean elements. Um, I was trying to think of more movies with that, and I was coming up with a bit of a blank. Um, what other movies contain like a subterranean underground community? I'm trying to, I can't even think of a single one right now for
Yeah.
some reason.
Demolition Man's the first and only one that I can think of right now.
It's the only one that matters.
I
Um,
know I've seen multiple of them though, but I just can't think of them.
yeah, it's tough. It's like not a trope, not but like a recurring set design that you see in movies from that era. Um, like the underground, dingy, dusty. Everyone's like fucking weird because they don't get any sunlight. Um, it's like something that I feel like is in a ton of movies, but I just don't know what movies. I can't recall. Um, did you
Oh,
know that there? Oop, did you know
Chud,
there's a? Oh, Chud. Yeah, fuck. Um, when's the last time you saw Chud? I've seen it like one time in my life.
years ago. It's been
Yeah.
quite a while.
So, aren't there more than one? Am I
I
Mr.
think there's two.
Yeah. It's Chud and Shudder.
Something like
There's a
that.
third one. It's Chuddiest. Um, okay, so Chud, Demolition Man. I mean, I was gonna say like I think in one of the AVP movies, the pyramid is underground, but that's like not the same at all. Now we're just talking about movies that go underground at some
Yeah.
point. In which case, we got all the movies about drilling and mining and shit. Um, we'll have to circle back to movies that are underground. Try to think of a underground pun for a month worth of underground movies. I'll have to think about it. Um, but yeah, it's enjoyable. It was a good watch. Um, it is interesting that they used that it was the lost city of Atlantis, but historically Atlantis is underwater.
Yeah.
So, um, and so I was thinking a lot about movies that pertain to Atlantis, and I pulled up a list because the I figured the list would be huge. Movies that have relevance to Atlantis. There's Wikipedia said there's only like 28 movies that like name drop purposefully specifically contain Atlantis, and most of them are related to Aquaman. So, um, could you imagine if this movie had been underwater? Um, first off, wouldn't make sense. Movie's
Yeah.
over. He fell into a pit, he fell into the fucking ocean. Well, he's dead. Um, there's did you ever see The Cocoon? Did you ever see Cocoon, that movie?
I didn't. No.
It's it's pretty similar. It's like aliens land on Earth. They like crash land on Earth, and then the fucking spaceship like buries into the ground, and that becomes Atlantis. It's like the hub for aliens. Um, so it's like they're actually the aliens because they are aliens as opposed to aliens from Alien from LA, where aliens are used to talk about people from the surface. Um, but Cocoon is like kind of the same thing where there's a subterranean uh community, but they're actual literal aliens instead of instead of normies or whatever. But uh shout out to Cocoon though. It's a weird ass movie. Um the only other big thing that really stuck out for me was the similar to Atlantis being like the mystery city underground or whatever underwater is they really lean into the beautiful woman wearing glasses equals ugly nerd.
Yeah,
But you take the glasses off and she's like, "Oh my God, she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." Um, do you have a I'm gonna put you on the spot again, but do you have a favorite movie that contains that trope in it? The nerd with glasses and then beautiful without them?
probably not another teen movie. The parody of it.
Yeah. But they did it probably some of the best that anyone has ever done it because it's so like they're doing it with like a wink, but also they do it so well because it's just so fucking goofy and absurd
Yeah,
um and not another teen movie I think is referencing all of the other times that it happens in history, but I think it's specifically referencing She's All That, um, which is actually a pretty good movie. Like I really like She's All That either way. Um, Princess Diaries is another one that does it. Miss Congeniality leans into that a little bit when Sandra Bullock is like an agent that wears glasses. She's like her hair's all fucking disheveled and she's supposed to be ugly, and then they take the glasses off of her and you're like, "You're beautiful now. Now go be in this pageant."
yeah,
Um, yeah, the thing that's interesting about that though is that's also something that is utilized for men in movies as well. Like you could possibly make the argument that in the Superman movies, Clark Kent removing his glasses, he goes from like a nerdy, mid-average looking guy to like he fucking pops the glasses off, puts his underwear on over his suit, and suddenly he's the hottest motherfucker that's ever lived.
yeah,
So it's nice to see that um plays into both men and women because a lot of film tropes that play into people being like really beautiful tend to be focused mostly on women, which is not the vibe. But I do like that we do get men who are ugly as fuck wearing glasses, which is why I never wear my glasses, which means I can never see shit. Because I don't want to be an ugly nerd. That's the one thing that's keeping me. I put my
yeah.
glasses on and it's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Uh, I put my glasses on and people are like, ugh, like, what the fuck?
And you
I
have
take
your
them off
own,
like, ugh,
yeah, have your own take glasses off moment.
yeah. Uh, I let my hair down. I take my glasses off and they're just like, put them back on. Like, oh, all right, thank you, chill. Why you gotta be mean? Um, Something I didn't know. I had to look it up. I like to do a little research because I never want to be totally without something to talk about. Um, there's like a loose sequel to this movie. Did you read into that at all?
No, I didn't see that.
So there was so the premise of Alien from LA, if you remove the like dad dying element, I have to go find what happened to my dad. But the like going underground, the subterranean community, all that is functionally lifted directly from um, Journey to the Center of the Earth, um, which has been adapted like a million fucking times in different ways, different places, different different eras. So while Alien from LA was kind of like in motion. Um, there was another movie being directed at the same time, being produced a little bit earlier. It basically was like there was a Journey from the Center of the Earth movie being made around the same time as Alien from LA was starting production. They shot the movie, they tested it, people did not like it. So then they brought in the director who ultimately directed Alien from LA as well. They brought him in to wrap it up, and he said um, he pretty much told the Canon Films at the time. He said, "I'll do it if you allow me to make Alien from LA for like next to nothing." Um, so they agreed, but Journey from the Center of the Earth fucking has Kathy Ireland's character in it, playing the same character, like doing the like it's the same thing. Um, so it's a slightly different premise, but it's was produced before, released after, and contains her character Wanda as kind of like the through line for both of them. I have not seen it. I only found its existence recently, but um, might be
Yeah,
worth revisiting that.
yeah. Now I'm interested.
The the Journey to the Center of the Earth, I think, is like the subterranean, the underground dwellers are trying to like fucking invade the Earth, however you want to look at it, and she has to go down there and stop them. So so it's like a very different vibe than the
Huh.
other one we got.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
somewhat familiar with the director's other movies, but I didn't know he did a sequel to this.
I mean he's like a big B movie direct to video kind of like he does have the quantity to make him a known name in the genre for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think I know any of his other movies off the top of my head though. I didn't look into it too hard.
that, that Cyborg with Van Damme.
What was him?
Yeah,
Okay, actually, I'm very familiar with Cyborg. I love Jean-Claude Van Damme more than I should, but I do. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna watch Cyborg now. Maybe in like 10 episodes we'll do a part two to this, and we'll watch the other one, Journey to the Center of the Earth, and we'll circle back and see how it holds up, see what we think.
yeah. I'd be down for that.
But I want some time. I want like a month before I have to watch it. I need my ears need some time to decompress from the sound of that voice. Um, yeah, that'd be sick to watch Journey. But also I'd like to watch Cyborg for this as well. But I don't consider that a. I mean, this is not about just bad movies. It's supposed to be about weird, strange, unique movies. I don't know that Cyborg fits that category. It was just like an action movie in the height of action movies being pumped out. It was nothing special.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that I wonder if the Vinegar Syndrome release was a boon to um, the people involved, or like sometimes people make movies in the 80s and 90s, those genre films where they make them because it's like the first movie they're in, and then they move on and they have lots of other accolades and big things and big projects they're a part of, and people will periodically ask them about like, hey, remember when you were in this movie? And they just get so like rigid and uptight about it, like, yeah, I don't want to talk about that shit.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's how Kathy Ireland feels about this.
I would think so.
She's like a bill like not she's not a billionaire, but she's like a multimillionaire. She's one of the biggest names in the history of modeling. Um, and you know, she's definitely not doing the B movie convention circuit, at least not to
Yeah,
my knowledge.
yeah.
Maybe she is.
They didn't get her for
Uh,
any special features, so
yeah.
it's probably not a good sign.
Yeah, they were like, "Do you want to come back?" And she said, "No, I don't want to do that. That's not." Oh, chill. We didn't want you to do a commentary. We just wanted to hang. Um, yeah, I don't know. I wonder how she feels about it. Whether she looks back at it fondly or not. I would. It's it's a piece of art, and not all art is good, but art is subjective, so it's
Yeah,
all good. Um, yeah, banging movie in some ways. Um, dog shit movie in others, but that's just the nature of what we do is uh watch movies that they're just weird. I think that's kind of what the whole thing is going to boil down to is just weird ass movies.
yeah.
Do you think um do you think that we'll see a resurgence of movies where people retreat to the underground, whether they're aliens or mutants or whatever? I truly, genuinely cannot think of a movie in the last 10 years that contains that as a plot point, that there's like an underground community. Um, but given the current socio-political climate where we're teetering on World War III, do you think that movies where we go into underground bunkers and shit is about to take off again?
I don't know about movies, but maybe for real.
Yeah, life's a movie, my guy.
But yeah, if
When
not, they should bring them back.
I mean Fallout, but um watching Fallout and playing Fallout is maybe it's a little too real now. Like it's getting crazy out here.
Yeah.
I am excited for. Did you watch Fallout? I always assume that everyone has, but
Yeah.
are you excited for season two?
Yeah. Especially the little New Vegas teaser at the end there. New Vegas is my favorite Fallout game.
It is without a doubt the best one, which is a bummer because like three is great. I love it. I go back to it, play it all the time. New Vegas is just so good that 4 and Fallout 76 just could not possibly match how fun and interesting that world was. Um, 4 was great to play. I mean, it came out and I was living in Boston, so it was really bizarre to like be throwing fucking nuclear bombs at a 100-foot tall mutant on the Boston Common. And I was like, fuck, I was there yesterday. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, so that was really sick. That's what carried me through playing Fallout 4 so much was like, this is kind of cool exploring the place that you live. But the story was just totally average. It was fine. Um, but New Vegas, I recently started replaying in the last couple months. It's just, dude, it might be the perfect video game.
Yeah. It's so good.
I started playing on my computer as opposed to the my Xbox or whatever. And with the computer, you get like a better frame rate. It's so much snappier. It's so fast. It's like the menus don't take like 3 seconds to like swap between menus and stuff. Um, it's nice, dude, and it plays so cleanly. Like I haven't encountered any issues playing it on my computer. Which when I fire up the Xbox copy, there's still like because it's the 360 copy of it that's being
Yeah.
backwards compatible through the Xbox, so it plays like a little kind of little clunkier, little less clean. Um, but I would love a sequel to New Vegas. I know we're never gonna get one.
Yeah.
Um, especially with Obsidian has moved on to 9 other properties. They're never gonna go back to New Vegas.
Yeah.
Um, but did you play? And we're spinning off into video games now, just because I was thinking about Underground. But Obsidian didn't do New Vegas, but they did do fuck outer. What was it?
Outer
Outer Planet?
Worlds.
Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds. Did you play that?
Yeah, I played that one.
Sequel's coming.
Yeah, it was not bad. I just started their new one too, Avowed.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm playing. Like fuck movies. All right, let's talk about Avowed. I'm also playing that right now. Um, we can pivot. It doesn't always. It's media
Yeah,
oddities. It's not
it's still
movie
media.
oddities. Let's talk about Avowed. Uh, I'm enjoying it. People are shitting on it for not being Skyrim, but I didn't assume it was going to be Skyrim. So,
Yeah.
are you pretty far, or are you just casually kind of playing it?
Yeah, just casually playing it. I started at the end of last weekend, so I haven't played it too much during the week, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Fun. I I definitely like that difficulty in um the difficulty in the like characters you encounter, the bad guys, whatever, is not like the level. It's not level gated, so it's not like you're like, oh, you're level 30, so like all the bad guys are level 30. They don't um level with you, but it also means you can just like go the wrong direction for a few minutes and you're like, oh, I'm about to get fucking destroyed.
Oh yeah, that's happened a few
It's
times already.
I've died more in Avowed than I have probably any other like mainline RPG in the last couple years, like for how little I've played. I
Yeah.
died like 6 times in the first 2 or 3 hours because I kept trying to go too far in one direction and just
Yeah.
could not. Like once you get once they fucking know you're there, it's like, oh, I'm toast, dude. I'm done.
Yeah. I just got the wall of bounties, so I grabbed them all. Just went out for a few. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come back to this later.
Yep. Yeah, I did the same thing. I checked out all of the points of interest in the town, grabbed the bounties, and then tried to do the lowest level one and still got just fucking crushed. But it's fun. We're
Yeah.
selling it. We're like, all we do is die. This game's very fun. I think I think Avowed is definitely worth playing. And it's I think the common theme here is all the things we're talking about is sci-fi. Like um underground vault dwellers, underground communities of aliens, fucking aliens crash landing in creating Atlantis, motherfucking Harry Potter spell casting people in Avowed. Like sci-fi is just the strangest genre because it's such a wide open space for things to exist.
Yeah.
And even though Avowed is more high fantasy than science fiction, but um, it's still kind of similar. Um, I think that's something that we're missing in contemporary movie releases. I don't think there are any major sci-fi movies scheduled for this year, at least not that I know of. Maybe the Alien TV show, but it's not a
Yeah.
movie.
Got Andor season 2.
Yeah. Same
Probably.
thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's mostly TV, maybe. Maybe not as many movies.
Yeah, I can't think of one. Mickey 17.
That's true. I've heard good things about it.
It's the only one
Um,
I can think of.
yeah, and that comes out soon too. I mean, whenever this podcast, if when you listen to it, this is the time that we're I think like a month out from Mickey 17. So if you listen to it afterwards, oh, it was great. I promise it was good. Yeah, go see it. Uh, I am really excited though, speaking of movies and media oddities. Criterion Collection doesn't typically publish or release movies that I would consider like oddities. Criterion usually has to have some sort of significance, whether it's cultural or film or something about the director or something about the content. But um, Austin, Texas is home of South by Southwest, and last year the Criterion Collection launched their mobile closet. So they take the closet, the Manhattan office closet that they shoot all those videos in, they slapped it into like a Sprinter van or whatever, a big ass trailer, and they took it around the country last year, and I missed it, but they're going to be at South by Southwest the first and second week of March, and I'm going to be working South by Southwest, so I'm going to be there doing things, and I'm going to try and get into. I mean, I'll be able to get into the closet for sure, the mobile Criterion closet, but they're also shooting video while they're in there,
Oh
and
yeah.
they'll use that for whatever. So, um, I'm trying to get in there, and I'm trying to fucking make it onto the Criterion Instagram page. I'm gonna
Just be
just pick
like,
weird shit.
just be like Jackie Chan box it.
Yeah. And I think the way it works is they do 5 people at a time. So they're like make friends, talk to the people around you because you have to kind of come up with this game plan. Because from the second you cross the threshold of the closet, you have 3 minutes in there. Um, and I'm like, dog, that's not enough time. There's like over 1,000 spines. Like there's so many fucking movies. Uh, but I guess what they do is they give you a checklist, like a little diagram that will have like what movies are where, what key films that a lot of people really like, just like a way for you to be able to navigate just the wall of movies in 3 minutes. Because you could spend 3 minutes just turning your head
Yeah.
and just looking down and being like, where is everything? Um, so I'm going to go into it with with the app that you recommended, the CLZ movies. I'm going to have all my criterions logged on that because there's so many of them that I would not remember whether I own it or not. but me and four strangers. This is like the world's worst real world. It's what happens when five strangers get into a Sprinter van Criterion mobile closet, pick a Jackie Chan box set, and stop being what is it? Stop being fake and start being real. And it's real world Criterion closet.
I'd watch that.
What happens when you put 10 uh movie lovers, film buffs in a fucking locked room and they have to pick one movie as the greatest film of all time? That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Or you close the door, lock it, and then you immediately hear a knock. You're like, they can't possibly be done. You open it and they're like, Police Story 2. Done. We're out. Fucking Jackie Chan box set.
Yeah. Have you seen the Jack Quaid when he parodies the Criterion Closet?
No, I haven't seen that one.
He's just on like a green screen with like movies around him, and he picks one up and he's like, "Oh, it's Morbius. Oh, it's another copy of Morbius." It's hilarious.
Have to if I make the closet, I'll pick my movies and I'll say, "Where's Morbius at?" Like y'all, didn't y'all release that or it's Morbin time?
Yeah.
Um, dude, they just thinking. I was thinking about Morbius and all the shenanigans that ensued with that. The Razzies just dropped their nominations for the year, and Madam Web pretty much is in every category. So,
Rightfully so.
um, Madam Web got like nommed for everything. So did Megalopolis or whatever
Oh
got
yeah.
nominated for quite a few of the Razzies, which from what I heard, it's well warranted. I don't know. Did you see it?
I haven't seen that one yet, no.
Exactly. Between the two of us, no one's seen it. So it's a small sample size, but it feels maybe like it wasn't the best movie.
Yeah.
But I also just don't know what I would pick in the closet because I would want to like look, I love movies. I took plenty of classes in high school and beyond for media literacy, and I even took a few journalism classes. So I do at my core feel like I have a decent understanding of movies, but sometimes I'm I'm for sure ADHD. Um, there are times when I'll watch a movie and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, my dude. Like I split my focus for 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, who's this? Why are they talking? What's going on? What happened? But I refuse to roll it back. So then I'll pull up
Yeah.
Wikipedia and I'll start reading what the fuck happened. And the next thing I know, I've missed the next 10 minutes because I'm like, oh, I didn't know. Um, so my criterion would be like, which five movies was I able to complete and not have any distractions? So here we go. Here are my five. Um, but the closet's on tour. I don't know if they're going to be heading your way at all, but
Probably
um,
not. Nothing ever comes down here.
yeah. Well, it's far, dude. Like, I mean, Austin is far too. You go south and then you cross the threshold of Texas, and you have to go another 8 hours to get to us usually. But um, it's tough, man. Like everything skips. Like a lot of places, like a lot of things like that, will go Houston and Dallas, and then we'll just skip Austin because they'll come in, they'll do Houston, which is East Texas, they'll do Dallas, which is like Central Texas, and then they'll like beeline up and they'll go through the Midwest a little bit, like work their way towards Chicago and stuff. Um, but for like Florida, it's like once you get down there, you then have to turn around and go right back out. So
Yeah.
so they like hit Orlando and they're like, we're never coming back to this motherfucker. Like we're out of here or whatever. Um, yeah, I'd be interested. I'm not going to pull it up now because I'm only using one monitor today, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to power everything. I had to buy like a USB powered splitter because I have so many USB fucking peripherals plugged into my computer right now.
Yeah, same.
Um, and when I was using my monitor the last couple times, my I wasn't using my keyboard. I would unplug that one, which meant for me to type, if I wanted to look at something while we were talking, I was like like fucking try to. So I was like, I'll give her the monitor. I'll try this, but um, yeah, I'll take a look. But if it's sick, I'll probably. I don't know. It's tough because you get 3 minutes, and it's like you and four other people. So like, I don't want to be like in people's shit, but like, I kind of want to like take a Instagram story. I don't know. Like, I don't
Yeah.
often post about anything other than movies, so. But it'll be sick. And you can also, I mean, the whole point is you can also buy movies, but you get them at like a steep discount. So why wouldn't I try and pull the trigger on a few new
Yeah.
releases that I haven't seen?
Might as well.
Yeah. I think other people need to do like Vinegar Syndrome comes to Texas a lot because we have the Texas like Texas Horror and Fright Con or whatever the fuck it's called. Um, so like Vinegar Syndrome's here constantly. Um, and they show up all over the place. Like, they are at every horror convention in the country usually. But I think like Arrow could probably support, although Arrow's barely publishing movies correctly and with the correct audio tracks on it right now. So I don't know
Yeah.
if they could, yeah, I don't know if they could like sustain having a mobile unit as well because I feel like they'd fuck it up. But um, more people just need to do that. Give more people more access to your movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alien from LA, man. I'm actually more interested in what we're going to be talking about going forward because um, we've done three movies so far. This is episode three. We both had seen Grizzly Rage more than once. Um, Second one, neither of us had seen at that point, which I think was more interesting to me because I was experiencing everything for the first time. And then this one was like a split. Like I had seen it, you hadn't seen it. So we had kind
Yeah.
of like a middle ground. Um, but we have more stuff to talk about. There's more movies coming. And Alien from LA was my last minute pick. I was struggling to find one that I wanted to cover. Um, but the next one I think would be you. Your episode four. Um,
Yeah.
what are you pitching for episode four of Media Oddities?
So I I'm picking Guardians. This Guardians.
I'm glad you have a copy because I don't have a copy of that. So,
Yeah.
um, why the fuck do you have a copy of that? Did you buy it randomly or did
It's
you
like
just
a
find it
bargain
somewhere?
bin find.
Um, Guardians, yeah, have not. I vaguely remember it coming out because I remember it was fairly recent. It was like within the last 10 years. So any movie that uses the title Guardians in it, like you hear it and it's like you're constantly thinking Guardians of the Galaxy, um, which this is not. But Guardians is a Russian straight from the fucking Moscow kind of shit. Like I'm surprised it got a Western release kind of
Yeah.
shit. Like um sick. So we'll be back for episode four with Guardians, a Russian superhero movie, which uh maybe it's not that bad. We'll find out. All right. I'll see y'all in episode four.